I hate to be a letdown, though. I am always a letdown in life. I took a long time to get things set up because I had passed out due to my chronic fatigue in the afternoon. So I got things set up by the time of about 11 o'clock. Chronic fatigue in the afternoon. Oh, I've left so me I got things volume on. Oh, there we go. Professional. Um, but the fucking what's it? I will be doing a stream with the doc tomorrow. But I am gonna do this one anyway because I set it up and get the ball rolling on the conversation regarding what's going on at the moment. I did show, because I caught the doctor just before he was going to bed. I did show him the screenshots of what you were saying, MLM revolution, and he loved to see it, and he's looking forward to reading through the rest of the comments of the stream when it's over and he gets the chance to see it when he's woken up. Oh, and he says good night. But what we need to dive into now is the horrible situation berefting Palestine. I'm gonna read the full version of what I have on my screen. I only have part of it, just so it's in big enough writing to get the big punchiness of it out visibly. This is the same thing that I have for the thumbnail. So the State of Palestine, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and expatriates. This is dated for the 13th of April. It's a press release. The State of Palestine warns against Israel's escalating crimes against the Palestinian people, including collective punishment, targeting civilians, an unlawful siege imposed on the city of Jenin, and calls on the international community to urgently intervene to protect the Palestinian people. Israel's decision to impose additional forces of collective punishment on the Palestinian people is a criminal act under international law and is incompatible with its obligations under international law. The State of Palestine holds Israel, the occupying power, fully responsible for the repercussions of its targeted crimes and violations. These Israeli crimes are rooted in the entrenchment of its settler colonial occupation based on race domination and discrimination. They are founded on depriving the Palestinian people of the most fundamental human rights enforced by the indiscriminate infliction of death, violent killings of women and children, injury, demolitions, detentions, collective punishment, and the strategic territorial fragmentation of the state of Palestine into separate areas of population control. The state of chronic impunity and systemic violence is a direct consequence of the international community's willful failure to hold Israel accountable for its crimes and to enforce international law and relevant resolutions, which has undermined the rules-based international order. It is indisputable that exceptionalism and double standards will imbue chaos and destruction for all the international community can no longer afford to tolerate or excuse Israel's ongoing crimes and violations of international law. The United Nations Security Council has an obligation to uphold its charter, implement its resolutions, and exact consequences on Israel for its crimes. The prosecutor of the International Criminal Court must also expedite his independent investigation into Israel's ongoing crimes, its officials, its occupying forces, and its settlers. Accountability for crimes in Palestine is not and cannot be optional. It is the cornerstone of justice. Oh yeah, no, I let him know. I'll let him know. Yeah, I'll inform about that. I am sorry for the unfortunate. It's but my timing is terrible. Setting back to let you keep going anyway, my comrades are still watching. God bless, comrade. Respect. No, I was hearing a lot of different anecdotes of horrible stuff that was going on from my Lebanese comrade. Um, he sent me a list of different sources. I'm gonna pull up a couple of them, but before I go on to that, I would like to mention what I was told. I think it was yesterday. I was told about Israel bombing Gaza. Like, we are going into full scale siege here. This isn't just skirmishing. They are going to, in my opinion, and I can't tell you the full ins and outs. I'm not a geopolitician, but I feel that we're seeing the comeuppance of Great Depression now, and these empires and their lackeys are lashing out in fear. Um, because in Great Depressions, crisis of capital creates the rise against capital to get great attraction. And regardless of what force it imbues, even let's say the Palestinians were led by capitalists, just for an example, I'm not saying either and or, their movement of anti-colonialism would still be more anti-capitalist than not, just on the basis that it's anti-imperialist. I know that sounds mad, but because they're devolving the capitalist structure by rising up against imperialism, they increase the contradictions against capitalism to make its demise occur. So the rise of anti-colonialism in that region, which will always keep rising, it's never going to be fully crushed. You can only set struggle back. You cannot destroy it. You'd have to wipe the people out to do that, which Israel isn't short of wanting to do, but the struggle is not dead. There are millions of Palestinian people, and they are willing to stand up for their people, and they are willing to fight. In that process, in them rising up, and as we have seen since 2019, since this coming Great Depression, contradictions have arisen from both sides, and the righteous struggle of the Palestinian people is pulling further. It's gaining traction. There's more push for the forces to form a coalition again and bring their strength together against Israel. This puts Israel in a position of fear. In that position of fear, they need to up the ante, and they've been practicing ever since the Lebanon war. Ever since the Lebanon war between Israel and Lebanon, if war is even the right word for it, you know, Israel is more way more atrocious than simply just the word war. But the the genocidal war that Israel plays against its neighbors, the war with Lebanon and the seizing of land from Syria, these processes and the ends of these wars and the supposed peacetime between them, if you can even call it that, they do skirmishes. In these skirmishes, it seems that Israel is litmus testing what would this, what kind of reaction will this get? What kind of reaction will this get? What will they do if we do this? And now we're going to see the calculative conclusion of their calculated violence. They are going to come to a conclusion and use what they've learned in a conglomerated force, a push to make a bigger standing over their neighbors. Not just Palestine. This comes to Lebanon, Syria, Jordan. Anyone who's near Israel and is Arab is under risk. Uh, Gaza news. Um, 1 second. What do you mean media sensitive? I made a new Twitter account. You can't tell me I can't look at the thing. There we go. Um, so elderly man sustained multiple injuries after being attacked by Israeli settlers. Occupied Palestine, uh, 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 QNN, which is Quds. I can't remember what one of the ends is, and then the other one's network. Oh yeah, Quds Network News, I think it is, or News Network. Sorry, I'm a bit of a moron at times. Extremist Israeli settlers on Saturday evening severely assaulted a Palestinian elderly man as he was gazing his cattle on his land in Kabet al Hafasi, a village east of the city of Takarim. Local citizen Saeed Jabiti said a handful of armed settlers severely attacked 80-year-old Mahmoud Fakaha during um, during gazing his cattle on his land. Sorry, during gazing his cattle on his land near the illegal settlement of Anab. The citizen added that the elderly man was admitted to hospital with bruises, fractures, and an injury to his left eye. Quote, the 80-year-old Fakaha was was subjected to a barbaric attack by terrorist settlers practicing hateful acts against our people with the aim of forcing them to leave their lands and thus taking over them, end quote, said Muyad Shaben, head of the Colonialization and Wall Resistance Commission. Such attacks would not deter our people from continuing their struggle. Sorry, I keep pausing when I shouldn't. Their struggle against the occupation state and its settlers, end quote, Shaban stressed. Um, he called on the Palestinian people to remain on their lands, protect them, cultivate them, and resist any Israeli attempt to take them. It's only the beginning of it. There's a lot to this. Israeli forces kill Palestinian woman after alleged stabbing attack in Hebron. Israeli occupation forces on Sunday evening shot dead a Palestinian woman for allegedly carrying out a stabbing operation near the Al Ibrahimi Mosque in Hebron. Local sources say the Israeli forces opened fire towards a Palestinian woman on suspicion of attempting to carry out a stabbing operation against heavily armed soldiers stationed near Al Ibrahimi Mosque. The Palestinian Health Ministry identified her as Maha Kazem Awad, a 24-year-old resident of the city. Meanwhile, Israeli media claimed an officer from the so-called Israeli border police sustained minor injuries as a result of the alleged stabbing operation. Earlier today, uh, Earlier today, the Israeli forces shot dead another Palestinian woman identified as 47-year-old Garda Ibrahim Sabatien, who is widowed mother of 6 in the town of Husan, west of Bethlehem. Both of these sources that I just read were produced on the April the 10th, so the dates are a bit off to how the context they're speaking. I should have said that first. Professionalism. Um. Okay, so here's the source for that article as well that I'm reading now. So, an unarmed Palestinian woman shot, killed by Israeli forces near Bethlehem. Um. Israeli occupation forces shot and killed a Palestinian woman near the town of Husan, west of Bethlehem City, on Sunday morning. The Palestinian Health Ministry confirmed that the Israeli occupation forces shot and critically injured a Palestinian woman aged in her 40s near the southern town of Hussan. The woman, identified as Gada Ibrahim Sabatian, who is a widowed mother of 6, who rushed by Palestinian medics to a Biet Jala hospital. However, she died of her wounds soon after, as she suffered a torn artery and massive blood loss, the ministry said. The Israeli occupation forces claimed the woman had approached the Israeli soldiers in, quote, a suspicious manner, end quote. However, an Israeli military spokesperson later confirmed that she was unarmed. In a graphic footage from the scene, the woman can be seen raising her hands. The soldiers then fired at her lower body, causing her to fall down. Oh my god, there's actual footage. 1 second, let me get the stream up for this. I think everyone should see this. Ow. Ah. Just had a piece of ash burning through my shirt. Ooh. Jesus Christ. How could hide you? Reshape the stream. I'm a professional. There we go. This is fucked. Okay, that's after she was shot, and she's on the floor there, and there's people running to her, and there's the Israeli soldiers that shot her. The fuck, man. Another idea. PCHR, another IOF crime, Israeli occupation forces. Child loses left eye with Israeli occupation fire in Jerusalem. The Palestinian Center for Human Rights. On Friday evening, a Palestinian child lost his left eye after being directly shot with a rubber bullet during Israeli occupation forces attacks on protesters near Al-Ram village's northern intersection, north of occupied East Jerusalem. This attack comes 3 days after the Palestinian Child Day, which is observed on April 5th every year and reflects IOF's grave violations against Palestinian children in the occupied Palestinian territories. According to investigations conducted by the Palestinian Center for Human Rights at approximately 2200 on Friday the 8th of April 2022, dozens of Palestinian young men and boys gathered near the northern intersection of Al-Ram village, north of occupied East Jerusalem, and some of them threw stones and Molotov cocktails at a military watchtower and military vehicle stationed there. God bless them. After IOF immediately assaulted the protesters and opened heavy fire with live and rubber bullets at them. As a result, Mohammed Iyad Musa Matoa, age 17, sustained a rubber bullet in his left eye, which present, along with other children, 15 meters away from the Israeli soldiers, Matawa was taken to Ramallah governmental hospital for treatment. The child's family stated to PCHR's field worker that Mohammed was directly shot in his left eye as the rubber bullet penetrated his eye. The family added that he underwent several surgeries and medical crews at the hospital and was forced to remove his eye. The boy had sustained wounds to his right eye 10 years ago, hence he is now severely visually impaired. Jesus fucking Christ. It should be noted that this is not the first incident of IOF attacking peaceful Palestinian protesters. You don't have to tell me that. And deliberately wounding them in their eyes, causing loss of sight among civilians. Nor is it the first incident of IOF targeted attacks on protests and upper bodies. This is something as well that would have been nice to have, and tomorrow we'll be able to talk to Weisfeld about it, because Weisfeld himself has been the receiver of an injury from rubber bullets. Like, you know, when you hear the word rubber bullets, I know that cadres here will know how horrible they are, but a lot of people who aren't experienced in the world of protesting, especially protesting in these third world situations where the rubber bullets might not be as lenient as they may be somewhere else, they call them rubber bullets. They have a big ass steel ball in them. They don't hit soft, they hit hard. They're not nice fucking things. It's that they're the type of thing where you're either gonna die in a very brutal way because they cause very, very severe fractures that will fuck you over, or you live your life in a way that cripples you. Either you end up with a leg that don't quite heal properly because they broke one of your leg bones, or you have a hole in your muscle that constantly reforms because scar tissue and muscle doesn't heal properly. I know that from my arm injury. You know, or you end up losing your fucking eye and not being able to see properly for the rest of the life because you already sustained an injury in your other eye. They cripple you. It's not just being hit by something rubber, it's being hit by this big ass steel ball that just happens to be surrounded with rubber. Rubber itself isn't the softest thing to be hit by. Fucking hurts. It stings. And if you know anything about anything that flex, when something flexes off when it hits you, it makes a pulling effect that really, really fucking hurts. Anyone who knows about punching something, one of the biggest advices you'll ever be getting about throwing a punch is you always follow through with your punch, because if you pull off from a punch, you will exert force back on yourself in a way that can split and even fracture. By split, I mean split the skin and the muscle, but by fracture, I mean the bone. And that's the same way a rubber bullet works. Because of the way it hits you, it creates this compounding force that creates more damage. It's like it's like a bouncing spalling effect. It bounces in a way that spalls, and it ricochets off you in a way that really, 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 really fucking hurts. People don't get how horrific rubber bullets are. Or is it the first incident of IOF targeted attacks on protesters' upper bodies? This attack is only one incident in a series of IOF attacks that have been escalating against since the beginning of Ramadan, including attacks on Palestinian gatherings in the Bab al-Amud area, one of occupied East Jerusalem's old city gates, within a systematic policy by the occupation to suppress any Palestinian presence in the area. So far, dozens of protesters sustained wounds and bruises, and more than 40 others were arrested in IOF's escalated attacks in Jerusalem. So far in 2022, IOF killed 20 Palestinians, including 5 children, and wounded 184 others, including 39 children. In separate incidents in the West Bank, most of those killed and wounded were killed due to IOF excessive use of force against peaceful protests and gatherings. PCHR condemns the continued use of force against peaceful protesters, including shooting at and wounding civilians, and the deliberate targeting of children in their upper parts, resulting in severe disabilities among them. Especially if you're being shot in the skull by rubber bullets, which can fracture your skull, especially if you're a young lad. You're one of the, because some of the kids that will get injured by the IDF, they're not just talking about like 16, 17-year-olds with the one we were looking at earlier. Like this, we're talking about children. Like little kids aged anywhere. I can't even turn around and go around six. No, any kid. They bomb tower blocks. We're talking about people that don't give a shit whether you're this small. Oh, I can't see the bottom line. Whether you're like this small and you're able to be cradled in someone's arms as a tiny little kid, or whether you are 80, 90 years old, they see these people as a whole as less than human, as third class citizens, as people who are scourges. That's what the Israeli settlers see these people as, and they unite under this banner of Nazism, of genocide. Israel is a Nazi state. PCHR calls upon the international community to take immediate action to stop the Israeli occupation's crimes and reiterates its call upon the high contracting parties to the 1949 Fourth Geneva Convention to fulfill their obligations under Article 1 to respect and ensure respect for the convention in all circumstances and their obligations under Article 146 to prosecute persons alleged to commit grave breaches of the Fourth Geneva Convention and guarantee of Palestinian civilians the right to protection in the occupied Palestinian territories. Amen. Killing is easier for them than drinking water. They love blood. This is from Gaza, now in English. At English Gaza for any of them that want it. Let me move my guy out of the move myself out of the way. I'm my own guy. Hello. No, there we go. At English Gaza. You know, they're one of the groups posting to this, and the other one is that I had up is no, not that. Where is it? Just because I like to let people be able to follow the ads that I've been pulling up. Because yeah, so let's get Kuds up. What's the app for Al Kuds? No, that's Gaza now in English again. What am I doing? I know what I'm doing. I promise. Oh, okay. Kuds on Twitter. Okay, so it's at Quds Network. Let me move that. Oh, I'm trying to drag it on the fucking thing. Um, at Quds Net. Sorry, at Quds Nen Nen. You guys probably read it easier than I can. I've not got very good eyes. Just go to those are the two Twitter group pages I've been pulling up to get these news articles from at the moment. So yeah, the Israeli occupation army injures a second Palestinian woman, leaves her bleeding and prevents ambulances from reaching her in Hebron now. You will see those who talk about women's rights. Um, uh, um, Sorry, you will not see those who talk about women's rights. This I think there's a translation issue going on. What they're trying to say is, I don't think try and see the people who say that they're talking about women's rights. Try and defend this. trying to get at the people of the West that try and claim that these motherfuckers are somehow progressive or in any way, shape, or form. The, and how they ignore the struggle of the Palestinian people and the struggle that they struggle for their women's rights. This is pure evil. Gated up, cornered off, surrounded by soldiers, and even when they're gated up, got us surrounded, and they've got assault rifles, they're still having to shoo off these civilians in trackies with cameras. These guys are committing Nazi war crimes as we speak. And they're cornering off this woman that they just fucking injured. They just did this. And now they're preventing her from getting healthcare. From getting saved, from her life being prevented from death. This is the Israeli this is Israeli settler-colonialism in action. They're murderers. Oh, there's more tweets. I thought it was part of the thread. No, there's nothing. There's nothing coming up. I cover this one yet? Ah, it's been deleted by Twitter. Fuck. I got another one here, actually. Israeli occupation soldiers are chasing a Palestinian young man who was able to document the crime at the moment of the cold-blooded execution of a Palestinian woman in the city of Hebron a short time ago. Start the video up. It's not like YouTube, we can double click. It's used to that. Oh, you gonna play? Why isn't it playing? Them all waiting fucking around the street like fucking the villains they are. Bunch of evil little cunts just sitting there waiting with their fucking rifles, waiting for someone to pick on. This is exploiters. This is what happens when you give these people the power to abuse and oppress people and no one stands against it. Like that fucking statement I read from the Palestinian news press read at the start. The international community lays silent. They let these war crimes happen. They profit off these war crimes. And this is the people that are helping them secure these profits. These vagabonds, these villains, these people who go around hunting the streets with fucking assault rifles to shoot people, to chase people down, to terrorize. And this is all done as an actuation of what the Israeli state represents. There is no justification for this state's existence. This state exists fully on its capacity as a force of thuggish oppression, of genocide, of puritanical evil that must be dismantled and destroyed. There is no just response to this settler colonial state other than the end of its existence. Nothing will satisfy the Palestinian people and the people of the Orient any more than the end of that oppressive Anglo-Saxon settler colonial state that claims itself to be Jewish upon notions made by an atheist that that land somehow belongs to them because of God.
لا ليش؟ اعطيه يصور قرب كبر تعال كلام من هون كبر هي مريض هي مبينه هي قدامنا صوروا هدول صور لا ليش؟ اعطيه يصور قرب كبر تعال كلام من هون كبر هي مريض هي مبينه هي قدامنا.
Sorry, just reading some messages from a Jewish comrade. What's it? The best gift is I got something that should have the footage of what the Zio Fox did to IB. 1 second. We're gonna watch this. We're gonna watch this video together. It's about 26 minutes, and it gets it's called Land Day. The Jewish nation is not based on race. The Jewish nation is not based on ethnicity. The Jewish nation is based on culture and religion. The Bundist movement includes both religious and non-observant Jewry. The political position of the Jewish Bund is not anti-religious. The position is non-religious. Let me move myself out of the way a bit. I don't think you need to see me as much as you need to see this. I'll be the little guy in the corner. Hello. Okay, 1 second. I've lost something. Oh, there it is. It's under my ass. Sorry, that was my bad. I tabbed out.
فلسطين عربية. اسعاف 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 اسعاف.
Demonstration stopped. There's blockade up there.
اسعاف اسعاف.
Various people incapacitated by gas. A person being taken into ambulance. highway's blocked again. There's all the traffic backed up. Demonstrative carrying an olive tree. Planting.
يلا يا شباب يلا.
Soldiers are seeking to pass the traffic but stop the demonstration. The demonstrator's back. Now there's more soldiers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The soldiers are approaching.
I must clarify. Peaceful protesters, they have flags. That is it. That is the most offensive thing that they have that could be used as a weapon. They have a stick that is the flag is tied onto, and the stick is not going to break before it will hurt you. That's all they got on them. The flags, their phones, and anything else they got on them. That's it. They're not a threat to anyone.
Approaching because the demonstrators are advancing. Oh, he's the one who's firing tear gas. Firing. 4 times.
Just spamming tear gas.
5. Soldiers are throwing.
Now he's gonna start spamming tear gas. How much tear gas do you need? This is. You got to remember that you're not allowed to. Military, like armed forces, aren't supposed to use tear gas in war environments, but they're allowed to just spam it in a policing environment. Like, choo, 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 choo. He's just spamming it across the battlefield. Oh, sorry, across the battlefield. I got confused with the war analogy then. Across the road. This is just the main road. There's people who just have flags. They're unarmed. Choo, 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 with his fucking tear gas everywhere. Little wanker. This is the evil bastards we're dealing with here. Evil bastards.
Why are you trying to stop a peaceful demonstration? Peaceful demonstration. Let it pass. It's just a demonstration, that's all. What's wrong with the demonstration?
Fucking wrestling man now as well. Look, grabbing them up and shouting in their face, getting big about it. Look at them.
Just a demonstration, leave it alone. Demonstration advances.
Tear gas grenades.
Hit my leg.
There we go. He just got hit in the leg. I remember when the doc told me about this. I know some of you have seen the stream that I did with the doc. As he said, he didn't properly notice what had happened. He just remembers getting hit in the leg. That's that moment that he told me about. That moment. Ooh, my leg. He just got hit by a rubber bullet.
Hey! Why do you do this? It's only a demonstration. It's just a demonstration.
Evil
Leave it alone.
bastards.
Water. Here's another one coming.
Gassing them, shooting them.
Here.
Every time you hear a boom, that's a gun going off. Let me go back a second.
Here's another one coming.
You hear that? That's a gun going off. Every time you've heard one of them, that's another gun going off. That's them shooting rubber bullets at them.
Here.
Fucking bastard. This is a protest that here in military jeeps are in force. Look at how many of them there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's at least 12, maybe 13 people I can see that. No, there's not more at the back. That truck's got one guy by it, but there's probably at least 2 or 3 more with him. There's almost 20 people there. Almost 20 fucking soldiers there to deal with this peaceful fucking protest. You can tell the dog's staggering and limping now with the way he's moving. You can see the camera, the way it's bobbing.
Mia, Mia.
Jesus Christ.
For the eyes. For the eyes.
بعدين ولك ولا بعدين ولكم.
They're still stomping down the road, pumping their fucking gas grenade.
Crazy.
Still spamming them.
يا الله يا الله يا الله يا الله يا الله wait
Okay.
wait
ايمن متوجه
Fascist scumbag.
خذ خذ خذ
خرب بيتي يا ايمن
خذ جهاد.
Every single one of them people.
There he is.
Every single one of them people there deserve to
خرب
be
بيتي يا
there.
ايمن
Every Israeli military man there at this protest does not deserve to have
There he is.
the utter disregard for humanity of the IDF and of the Israeli occupation forces and of the people so willing to support this genocide, civilian or not, are utter abominations to humanity. The fact that they're so willing to all come together behind genocide is utter abomination to humanity. Disgraceful.
تعبت
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. At least 6 vehicles.
Christ. You could probably at least fit 6, maybe 5 man. You got equipment, so probably 4 man in a vehicle. 6 times 4. 24, isn't it? Yeah, 24. That's me guessing about the. Oh, what that was about.
Each with about 4 soldiers at least.
Hey,
24
he said the same thing. That's neat.
soldiers.
اه
Plus 2 police vehicles.
اه
Here's soldiers up on the hills also firing tear gas.
Oh shit.
في طريق من هنا أنا المخلوق
Soldiers are forming a line up on the hill to prevent demonstrators from doing a detour around the roadblock. The incapacitated demonstrators going back down. Soldiers are advancing again. Second line of soldiers. Third line of soldiers.
Preach. Absolutely. I'd even go as far as to say Nazism, to be really edgy about it. Like, just because it's that bad. Not to be edgy in a. I know it's a weird word to use, but it genuinely is that bad. Like, they are bit for bit doing what Lebensraum and fucking, and Manifest Destiny. This is one of the prodigy child of the British Empire. One of the many fucking evil bastards to be spawned by our imperial domination of the world. We got a lot of responsibility to take for these fascist states.
Soldiers think they're going to advance again, even though the demonstration's not advancing on them.
There is a clandestine a clandestine Kahanist party operating in both USA and Israel, calling themselves Jewish National Socialists. So yeah, Nazis. Don't they work with the JDL? British Empire needs to be dismantled for real this time. Never was dismantled. They just turned around and used the name that had already been used to describe the empire at the turn of the century. Quote, Commonwealth, end quote.
Shooting again.
Wait, you're telling me they're a group that found the JDL not fascist enough? Jesus fucking Christ. Hey, that is really fucking bad. Fucking, for those that don't know, the Jewish Defense League is a group that's existed for quite a long time in America that basically goes around stomping out any Jewish voice that tries to speak out against Israel. For a group to break away from the JDL and need to be more radically right-wing, that is, oof. You're going to be dealing with some fucking hot potatoes there. Some very Hitler-minded people. Jesus Christ. Oh, the JDL also exists in Canada. They're not just in America. And I think they may even have an outlet in Britain, but I'm not too sure on that. It's weird that I'd know more about their existence in America and Canada than Britain, but...
احنا معانا قرار من محكمة العدل العليا هذه أراضينا بباجات كل هذول مذاب
there we go. Evil little fuckers, look at them. Fucking... They fucking entice them to group up, to have a conversation that will never fucking end well, just to do this. That was set up. They did this just so they could go and gas them after having an argument with them. The little fucking rats.
Sugar's getting through, but not demonstrators. Tons of sugar.
Do you know why people like that ain't gonna be talking about this? Because people like that, these white dickheads, are too busy trying to use Israel as an excuse to be anti-Semitic rather than actually dealing with the fucking anti-Semitic state of Israel. That is why people like that won't be dealing with issues like that. And they're too busy obfuscating the actual issues of imperialism just to lick ass Russia or turn around and discriminate my lumpen proletarian brothers and sisters and myself. and racistly go around saying gangsters in a way that is disgusting. What was with the racist tone of voice as well? Like dirty fucking play. Ain't for that. Ain't for that.
Sugar is the one recompense for this violence. More jeeps. More jeeps.
They're swarming. They're like fucking, what's it? They're like cockroaches. You find fucking one, and the next thing you know, you've got fucking thousands of them. Like, what the fuck? I know it's not really the place for it, but my autism has to have me say it. The symbol for the Palestinian ambulance, I think, looks beautiful. The way it's the crescent with the cross in the middle of it, I think that looks wicked. I love that.
سام تعال تعال
Squeezing his gas gun again.
I mean, how many of them are there now? Like, there was at least 24 before. Now there's got to be fucking 30 of them or something, or 40 of them. Like, there's trucks and trucks and trucks.
Now they're stopping all traffic. There's a soldier, same soldier, same demonstrator confronting again. Hidden by the truck there. This is a confrontational soldier. Okay, it's just a demonstration. Peaceful, peaceful. Okay, okay. Okay. Okay, yeah. Ah, hey! He's threatening me with a gas gun because I'm filming him. That's the danger now. That is, if there's any stones thrown, then soldiers would use that as a pretext to start firing. Anything.
This is the thing as well. What this goes to prove in this whole conflict is that there's no chance that they ever get anywhere with non-violence. Israel specifically goes out of its way to terrorize the people and will murder people when they get the chance. These people need to struggle for their freedom. People that condemn Palestine for fighting back, for the fact that they have to take lives to prevent lives being taken, to prevent them from being trapped in separated land plots that are being starved out in open air prisons, their tower blocks from being bombed, then they've got to do what they've got to fucking do. If someone was occupying your country and was killing your people, would you think it would be right to not fight back? Or would you condemn the people that stand up for your people and fight back in that same breath? Would you fight back? Because realistically speaking, you can't just stand by and allow genocide to happen. We don't condemn the people who stood against the Nazis in World War II. We shouldn't condemn the people who stand against Israel in 2022. I understand war is not a very nice thing, but people need to grow up. We've been supporting wars going around the world, stealing people's resources, and we know that's what's been happening. We all fucking joked about it since we're kids, before we were ever communists. It always used to be a butt end of a joke. All the US is after more oil. We knew what was going on. We're not fucking idiots. No one's a fucking idiot. It's an idiotic assumption to think everyone's an idiot, or some people are an idiot, or that person's an idiot. Let's be fucking real. We knew what was going on. We knew they were going around to fucking steal people's resources because we joked about it. So it was underlying in our consciousness. So we've allowed that to go on, and no one's gone out of their way to be so condemning for that. But people get all up in their antsy when it comes to fucking Palestine struggling for its freedom, when it comes to Houthis and the Yemeni and Arab people struggling for their freedom against Saudi Arabia. When it comes to the struggle of any peoples across the globe, we all get our answers up at decolonization, but we don't get our answers up at colonization. I wonder why people are like that. It's because of the benefits that this system gets when we take another nation. We get their oil, we get their resources, we get cheaper things, we get easier access to this, that, and the other. It benefits the people in the first world. Do you know who it doesn't benefit? The people who we fucking murder millions of people to get these resources. But this is why we have to support the Palestinian struggles and any other struggle of this kind. The decolonization process is a necessity and is the primary aim of struggle at the moment in the world. Decolonization is the primary aim of struggle, whether it be decolonization of the classic or the neo. It's decolonization nonetheless. And it will start to devolve the structures of this evil system. It relies on its capacity to rob and steal and thieve and genocide the populations of the world, treat them like rats, use them for cheap labor. That's its life sustenance. Lenin goes on about how imperialism is a system that has reached a point of contention, of contradictions, where it has to rely on the rest of the world. It has to rely on occupying and taking other markets and nations, otherwise it can't sustain itself. That's why he says imperialism is the decadent era of capitalism. And it is. It's just capitalism has built a framework in the first world that hides its decadency through the resources it steals from the rest of the world. But you go around the world, you tell me that most of the world is living in a fucking cheap product, enjoyable, fucking comfortable home living, yeah, decent waged work, cheap enough food that you can still sustain yourself on a daily basis. You know, like, tell me that the rest of the world has got all of those benefits that we take for granted, the amount that we can just order things straight to our door, the internet that's everywhere, that's on our fucking phones when we go about. And I mean, the phones that everyone has ends up always being the latest models because they're always on these contracts that allows them to pay small amounts of money then of towards the phone, and then they can get new phone upgrades and shit like that. We got all these things that you could just go on about for hours and hours and hours that we get because we plunder the rest of the world. The rest of the world don't have that. They are living in the decadency of capitalism because they exported the contradictions abroad, which is a process capitalism will do, and builds this sense of capitalist realism in the first world where it seems like it functions, and only those who are in the lumpen sector of society experience the dysfunctional sector of the first world, homelessness, the crime side of the world, the disabled population, colonized working class, and the what's it? Obviously, then you got the lumpen aristocracy with drug dealers and stuff like that, and you got the lumpen petty bourgeoisie with drug lords, and lumpen bourgeoisie with even bigger drug lords. just to keep it breadth, because I just noticed that I got myself in like listing the whole of the Lumpen, and we'd be here for ages if I started giving examples for everything. Let's track out the video.
Shabab. One stone thrown. Soldiers freaking out.
A stone.
Another stone thrown. Okay, I'm going. So stop! Journalists! In a gas cloud again.
God bless you, Doctor, and God bless Palestine. Fucking hell, man, that was intense. They had way more units there than there was even protesters by the end of it. Did you see how much that they swarmed up? That was fucking horrific. We need to not be silent on the struggles of Palestine, the struggles of Yemen, and the struggles of the decolonization movements around the world, especially those who are under the threat of genocide and ongoing genocides. But this is not the only genocides or apartheid situations that are occurring around the world. We live in a system where genocide is one of the many common tools used by capitalism, one of which is most common is cultural genocide. But Nazi states like Israel and Saudi Arabia constantly utilize genocidal tactics of the means of mass murder, many times to many heights of mass amounts of uh, 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 sorry, to the murder of many thousands and millions as time goes by. Israel has been going on mass murdering Palestinian people since 1946. And technically speaking, you could go before then anyway, because there was issues of Zionism before the state was even formed, causing trouble amongst the people. And we got to remember that the Balfour Declaration was signed in 1917. It was decided upon in 1910. It was signed in 1917. Britain got its eye for the region and wanted its piece of the pie. But the what's it? Palestine. Palestine is fractured into many different groups. You've got the 48, the ones who remain in the occupied territories that we've just been seeing. And then you've got the Palestinian people who are in Palestine, what remains of Palestine that is still in their territorial control as they struggle for freedom. And then you have the Palestinian diaspora, which is are they 10 million strong now? I can't remember the number, and I feel like I always end up getting it wrong. I can't remember whether it's 7 or it's 10. I remember it started off at like 3 million or something less than that, and then it sprouted up to like 7 or 10. I can't remember, but there's a massive Palestinian diaspora as well that want to return home. And what's it? Sorry, my head's itching my eye. This struggle is a struggle that has been going on longer than I've ever been alive. Times 3. It's been, that's still only top end of 60 something years. It's been going on for 8 years now, and technically 100 if we go all the way back to the British Balfour Declaration, because they also had the struggle against British occupation, which was no less evil. We're just as genocidal and absolutely abhorrent to anyone who isn't English or Scottish, because we were absolutely abhorrent to, and only half of Scotland, like the north half, we were horrible to, especially the Ulster Scots. Um, it's the south of England and the south of Scotland that dominate the regional control of the British Empire and its culture. And anything that didn't suit that line in culture was seen as blasphemous, ignorant, and treated as dogs. And Israel got that from us and expanded it into its genocidal practices. I mean, it comes into fruition when you look at all the interactions that the British Empire really has with history regarding genocide. The US's genocide, the Nazis' genocide, heavily influenced by the British Empire. The Nazi concentration camp was actually an advancement on the British concentration camp, where we used to ram people in and starve them all to death. Um, but what's it? This struggle will come to a fruition, and the Palestinian people will find freedom. The struggle has had setbacks. It's had its ins and its outs, as every struggle has. The 20th century was an absolute mess. But now we're entering another imperial conflict between the powers, where the US, China, Russia, Britain, the EU, they're all coming at fucking qualms with each other. They're all getting pretty pissed off. The the this the when an imperialist, well, I guess the proper word, sorry, when an inter-imperialist conflict begins, it rises the contradictions of the entire empire, and there's where you start to get a rise in decolonization. Every time there's been one of these inter-imperialist conflicts, decolonization has gained a greater wind, greater strength. Israel does not care about Palestinians nor Jews who refuse to sell out their true diaspora nationality. Oh, absolutely. And I mean, they got no respect for the Samaritans who have been in Palestine for fucking like the ever. They never left. They're all about like the Jewish people and building this homeland and all that, but a place that wasn't even actually a part of the Israeli tribe territories, the Samaritan region, is dominated by Israel, and they completely, the tribe of Joseph, their culture is being dominated and genocided by the Israelis. Yeah, down with the killers of children, absolutely. Down with the enemies of peace. Baby killers, they are. They bomb tower blocks full of civilians. The little fucking evil bastards. Yep, down with the Zionist occupation, brother, absolutely. There is no peace in Palestine so long as Israel exists. That has been proven by history. We can see it all. Like it's like Gengaro said. Absolutely. Solidarity. Indeed, brother. It's got to be terrifying being where you are with the current rising situations. Make that no peace in the Middle East. Absolutely, both Saudi Arabia and Israel can be thrown into that equation. And so long as Turkey seeks to be an empire and holds Azerbaijani and Assyrian regional territory, um, a cancerous entity that survives through chaos in the region. Absolutely. I got to screenshot that. That is an absolutely perfect quote for it. Turkey is bombing northern Iraq. What the fuck? Why? Well, we have privilege in the first world, the fourth world, along with the third world bleeds. Absolutely does, brother. Absolutely does. Preach to that. It's what's it? It's one of them things where you go really into the downtrodden lumpen, where you go into the third world and fourth world lumpen proletariat, is where you really see the people who experience the third world conditions of the fourth world. Like, I'd say probably one of the lumpen proletarian groups that probably struggle really hardest in Britain are people who are, you either Cymric, English, Scottish, or Irish. Not even thinking about the horrible shit that third world immigrants go through in the racist situations. Or just thinking of an interesting thing for you here for just third world conditions. I'd argue is actually Welsh lumpen proletarians. Like, because in the regions that are actually not dominated by Anglo-Saxons in Wales, they're very run down, and a lot of them that did have industry are now sacrifice zones. So it's a nasty struggle if you can't get work, especially if you're in one of the areas that's a holiday region, because then there's only work every now and then, once for a year for 6-7 weeks when the school holidays are on. Long live Palestine, all power to the people. Absolutely.
Yeah. This is for Palestine, Ramallah, West Bank, Gaza. This is for the child that is searching for the answer. Wish I could take your tears and replace them with laughter. Long live Palestine, long live Gaza. Palestine, Ramallah, West Bank, Gaza. This is for the child that is searching for the answer. Wish I could take your tears and replace them with laughter. Long live Palestine. While we listen to tunes made by ignorant fools, Israel blocked the UN from delivering food. They bring in the troops and you won't even glimpse at the news. They make money off the products that we're quick to consume. And it's not simply a question of differing views. Forget emotions, this is facts, what I spit is the truth. Makes no difference if you're a Christian or if you're a Jew. They're just people living in different conditions to you. They still die when you bomb their schools, mosques and hospitals. It's not because of rockets, please God, can you stop this all? I'm not related to the strangers on the TV, but I relate, cause those strangers could have been me. Words could never ever explain the raw tragedy. It's not a war, they're just murdering more rapidly, and we're automatically supporting pure savagery. Imagine how you feel if this was your family.
Free my people, long live Palestine. We will never let you go.
Sing it with me now. Free, free Palestine. 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 Palestine remains in my heart forever. We stand for peace, times of war. We shan't surrender. Remember, it didn't start in this dark December. Every coin is a bullet if you're Marks and Spencer. And when you're sipping Coca-Cola, that's another pistol in the holster of them soulless soldiers. You say you know about the Zionist lobby, but you put money in their pocket when you're buying their coffee. Talking about revolution sitting in Starbucks. The fact is, that's the type of thinking I can't trust, let alone even start to respect. Before you talk, learn the meaning of that scarf on your neck. Forget Nestle, Obama promised Israel 30 billion over the next decade. They're trigger happy and they're crazy. Think about that when you're putting Huggies nappies on your baby.
Absolutely right. There was so in fucking context of absolutely everything we just saw, just to really, really push in the situation in the middle of this song that I'm playing into this, because They are absolutely trigger happy. Every they were shooting like that in that video. There was barely any conversation before you heard bangs, and that was guns. There wasn't the gas. The gas was quite quiet. That was guns. And they want to shoot as soon as they can, every fucking time. Evil bastards.
My people long live Palestine. We will never let you go.
Sing it with me now. Free, free Palestine. 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 It's not just a war over stolen land. Why do you think little boys are throwing stones at tanks? And we'll never really know how many people are dead. They drop bombs on innocent girls while they sleep in their bed. Don't get offended by facts, just try and listen. Nothing is more anti-Semitic than Zionism. So please don't bring bad vibes when you speak to me. There's plenty of rabbis that agree with me. It's your choice what you do with this message. Don't get it confused, I view this from a human perspective. How many more resolutions have to be violated? How many more children have to be annihilated? Israel is a terror state, they're terrorists that terrorize. I testify my television, televise, I'm telling lies. This is not a war, it is systematic genocide. But whatever they try, Palestine will never die.
Free my people, long live Palestine. We will never let you go.
Sing it with me now. Free, free Palestine. Free, free Palestine. Free, free Palestine. Free, free Palestine.
Exactly. They showed at a Jewish academic that is good friends with Samaritans too. Just thought, absolutely. Should have explicitized that. Absolutely. The IDF are bloodthirsty psychopaths. Absolutely right, Dr. Novia. And all the rabbis definitely are on the side with Loki, because all the real rabbis know that Israel is a nasty system that's committing systematic genocide against the Palestinian people.
Palestine, free, free Palestine, free, free Palestine, free, free Palestine. Palestine, Ramallah, West Bank, Gaza. This is for the child that is searching for an answer. Wish I could take your tears and replace them with laughter. Long live Palestine, long live Gaza. Palestine, Ramallah, West Bank, Gaza. This is for the child that is searching for an answer. Wish I could take your tears and replace them with laughter. Long live Palestine, long live Gaza. I could take your tears and replace them with laughter. Long live Palestine, long live Gaza.
There we go. Keep that up on the screen. Do you want if I do this? Oh no. There we go. I'm not obstructing it then. Not to be rude. Lucky is how I discovered Immortal Technique. Hey, base, that's who he is. He has loved the guy in his music. Yeah, oh man, he's got some beautiful songs as well. He's got some music that will just brings tears to your eyes all the time. It's at the end of this song, it gets you all wet-eyed, as we'd say in the UK. Absolutely. All power to the people. Long live Palestine and long live Gaza. And people do need to be as loud as they can about Palestine. It's a genocide that is going on. And it's been going on for decades. And the fact that people just think we can get loud, get quiet, get loud, get quiet, it's not helpful. The more people we have talking about this, the bigger the painting we can envelop on the situation. You once met Immortal Technique? No way, boss man. Ooh. That heart that always brings fucking what's it? Brings the radical lumpen proles in when you got someone who's got a heart for struggle. It gets your mind going, it gets you thinking. 'Cause that's the thing with Loki. Loki's got that like really big sense of heart about things, and I really like Black the Ripper. He's fucking neat. I got a load of different what's it? Um Load of different people like Loki, Black the Ripper, and fuck. What if I forgot his name? He's one of my fucking favorites as well. It will come to me, but on a revolutionary rap, hip hop mega mix. The word hip hop, because I think hip hop is a much more respectful term than rap, in my opinion. It's what the street name for it was. It was called hip hop. Rap came later. And hip hop became a wider genre, but yeah. Good old compact cassette. Oh, it also you might quite like this. Might not show up on the camera, but it says death to fascism on it as well. just in case. Just in case I forget. Oh, and the hammer and the sickle, it has a microphone instead of a hammer. I thought that was a cool little touch. I think I've got the I've got I'm Black My Dude, Immortal Technique is a real OG. Hell yeah, respect. He recognizes a lot of us. Abomination too. I have Abomination by Loki's on on the second side of this cassette. Every time he says this isn't a message of hate towards the American people, I'm like, well, I've got a message of hate for the American people. You'd most likely get flagged if you play that too. Play that though. Probably. I know I won't get done for this one. This one I'm fine. Well, I'll probably get claimed but not taken down. Most songs typically do that. You don't typically get the video taken down. They just copyright claim for monetization I'll never get, so I'm not really too bothered by that. One of my Down with America, keep this stream up. Oh, this stream will stay up. And is a really good low-key one that I was thinking of doing like a channel trailer out of was the chorus. I was gonna use the chorus for the channel trailer, but I really like the song "The Voices of the Voiceless." I think that's a fucking absolutely beautiful song, and describes the process of what I want to do with the channel. I want people who aren't able to get their voices out there to get their voices out there so they can be heard. People can actually hear things that they don't normally hear because they're too stuck in their little bubble. Include myself as well. I get to hear things that I don't normally get to hear. I get to also learn from these experiences. So the learning experience through and through, which is the absolute perfect part of being a communist, being a teacher and a learner. Which I'm not good at either, so we'll see how far that goes. No one has ever had the balls to stream the video you just streamed. Oh, respect. Respect. It needed to be streamed. And my what's it? I'm also gonna be re-uploading it as well as a separate thing, just so people can see it as well on the channel to quickly click and upload it. I know the doc really does like it when people repost stuff about, so I think that'll be a nice thing for him to wake up to. I have very bitter disagreements with Dr. Weisfeld, but he is my comrade. Well, I have my own disagreements, and as you and I both know, there's also a lot of things we agree on with him. Like you say, he's our comrade, and he's a respectful comrade. He has his troubles, but he's been. I mean, I know how things go down. Like, what's it? Everyone's shown respect for this. We all understand the stress he's been under, and it's the stress that everyone else has been under as well. And it's been really, really hard times. The last 3 years now. And you know what, for you, like, it's been even longer than that. But from, like, just to really put into a window, the last 3 years, um, almost 3 years now since the massacre. It's been a really, really, really tense situation trying to stabilize all the struggle, and it is unity, struggle, unity. Absolutely, absolutely. One of the important things that street Maoists absolutely understand is the importance of unity, struggle, unity, and criticism and self criticism, and how we apply ourselves and deal with ourselves, because we must constantly be building ourselves forwards and understanding that there'll always be what things that we don't agree on, but we've always got to struggle on those disagreements in some way, shape, or form to build the processes that we shape ourselves forward and the line in which we direct ourselves. May 27th, 2019 was a shock to a lot of us, but it happened. Absolutely. It's the stress that's come from it that has caused a difficulty in reorganizing yourself. I've spoken to many eyewitnesses. Well, it was stark middle of the day, so there must have been tons of people who saw that. And unlike the middle class people who will turn away and close their eyes, the people who are in the lumpen, they will tell, they will see, they will speak. Communists need to listen to people who actually do stuff on the street. I'm sick of those internet communists who act like they know more than they actually do. Humility is something a communist needs to learn. Absolutely. It's, I mean, the process here that I've operated this channel is that when I've had colonized groups, and people representing colonized groups, colonized people are bringing things up to me regarding that. My process then is, okay, well, as soon as I can possibly do it, I need to deal with this. That has been my process. The one I've suffered on would be dealing with this. I should have dealt with this a week ago, and I am sorry for that. It should have been sooner. But nonetheless, my process of operating with these struggles is to be, okay, I've been told to jump. My only next question is how high. And sometimes that's already in the instructions, so it's okay, now I need to do it, because bringing things forward and being a voice helps bring light to these struggles and push a narrative forward, especially in conjunction with people like Jason and Dr. Weisfeld and Comrade Net, with the capacity of engagement with the wider community from Jason and Weisfeld, and the intellectual brilliance of all three of the people I just mentioned, Weisfeld, Jason, and Net, especially with the experience that Weisfeld and Comrade Net have had in struggle. They got an absolute mind for the world that I got a lot of respect for. Comrade Net is the vet of Bundism, and Dr. Weisfeld is the foundation Bundist. They are both very real. They are absolutely, absolutely real brothers. Internet communists are lappers. They are not serious about fighting for the people. Absolutely. Dr. Weisfeld and Comrade Net are absolutely real motherfuckers. Like you can feel the experience ooze off them when you engage with them. Got a lot of respect for both of them, and I love them to bits. Hey, Darks, saw that you got that video up. We'll watch it later. Oh yeah, that video with him and Dr. Weisfeld, absolute stellar. Watch that. Jason Unruh is over criticized. He took in every real criticism we gave him. He's a guy who listens. Like we aim to help Unruh's dream come true. He wanted to work with cadres, and now he does. Mopping is the fake. I came in fucking what's it? Absolutely angry, fucking pissed with them. Or when I come in, and I was sort of like, okay, Dengists, no, they're not good. And when that started to really unravel, especially when the Gillis situation occurred, which interesting factor as to what happened with the Gillis situation is that when I told Jason about the situation, very pissed off as I was, what's it? Um, the I ended it with, do you know what? Leave it, because I'd had this situation happen before in Trav's server, so I thought it was just an overreaction, and they would chill out, and everything would be sweet. And that's when everything then set off and got worse. If I'd actually just turned around and told Jason to do his video pointing out the situation and then tell her to fuck off, it would have actually been a smoother situation. But I decided to stand back and give them some respect, and then so that showed the Dengists up for what they were. It started to burn a hole in this whole theory of them just being naive that I'm sick of everyone holding, because there's no naiveness to consciousness. They become consciously, actively aware of their class position. Well, what consciousness are they following? Well, if they're labor aristocrats, I don't think they're following proletarian class consciousness unless they're class traitors and are willing to commit class suicide. I mean, the anarchists and the Maoists in Arizona absolutely know what class suicide means. I have been told extensively enough to understand the class suicide and the daring, willing, and braveness that comes into the struggle that they have to commit to out there in the field. Like, it's not, Arizona's no fucking lovey-dovey Luha land. It's a place where the police will escort people to a fucking synagogue in the middle of the day and have it shot up with machine guns by white supremacists. Panther Code will self-criticism for our old alliances with Dengists. We concede to the new generation. It's a mistake that we've all made, though, isn't it? Because we all thought this at some point. I will self-criticize myself for thinking it. I thought that it was a position of naivety, but the thing that I noticed with them is that they're all really well read. They're all really understanding of what they're talking about. The Arizona Rebellion is fearless, absolutely. Hearts of fucking gold with fists of steel. God bless them. And the fascists are lucky in one realm, though, because there would have been another fierce group fighting them as well. If they hadn't been for that massacre at that synagogue, there would have also been the Bundists, and that synagogue set back another group of struggle against those Nazis, massacring people as they want to. When they want to kill a native person, when they want to kill a trans person, when they want to traffic people, they start killing Jewish people, Irish people, African people. Third world liberation is still confused about Dengists, sadly. It's Marxist Leninist Maoist action was correct, embarrassed to say. They are really, really good with the like with the criticism. Like you guys are really salient with the self criticism. Like you're very very you're very good with the self criticism, and they're good with the outright criticism. I mean, it's one of them. We don't want to have to condemn people who sound like our own. It's no one's. It's not like we've been assholes or dickheads. We tried to be as humanitarian as we could about the situation and be like, okay, maybe these dengists are a bit confused, like, or maybe they're just latching on to things or unwilling to accept it or afraid of being called a xenophobe. We all want to fold over all the excuses, but what we end up finding out is it's a drive of labor aristocratic and petty bourgeois class consciousness. We see it with the whole moving over to China thing and going and essentially abusing their fucking land to live a cheaper life and get a job teaching English. But the then, and you know what, like this want to move over to the new developing empire we saw with the British Empire when the American Empire was developing, and we still see today with the British Empire. um Panther Code, MLM action, and Third World liberation. It does indeed. Brothers and sisters in arms. the it's the But then what ended up happening was Caleb basically. So when I started sifting out Dengism in MRN, Caleb basically switched on Jason himself. I didn't. I promise you, I didn't have to do anything. I'd mentioned that I'm very very certain on Caleb being a fascist, and I'm seeing all these things that are adding up. But I did not have to do anything for Caleb to turn on Jason. Caleb just did it because we started talking about decolonization. Like he started slandering Jason without mentioning his name, and then blocked him, and like after like refusing to debate him on the thing because Jason was like, "Whoa, Caleb, your video on decolonization sucks. It's terrible. There's so many problems with it." And then when he was offered to debate him, he just kept ignoring him and then blocked him and then turned around and was like, "Oh, he's not even willing to debate me." Oh man, it started losing trouble. It it's the beauty of fascists showing their own colors before I even had to do anything. I didn't even have to turn around and go um and start like making videos. Yeah, I started making my videos after Caleb had already fucking had a hissy fit. Third world liberation includes the Cuban youth. Those young cadres hate the market reforms. They want to bring back socialism. It's almost gone in Cuba now. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I hate it when I hear MLs turning around and trying to like uh um use the fact that there are Trotskyists involved in some of the protests to ignore the fact of what happens with Cuban Trotskyists. They do not stay Trotskyists. They go down two paths. They turn into anarchists. So they turn into fucking Maoists. That's what I heard. That's the anecdote I heard about the Cuban youth and their struggle and the people who are Trotskyists. Because Trotskyism does not have a space in Cuba. Trotskyism likes market socialism. It doesn't have a problem with it. Khrushchev was a Trotskyist. And as soon as they start learning shit like that and they learn about what Khrushchev did to the Soviet Union and Khrushchev's anti-Semitic views and Trotsky's anti-Semitic actions in the Civil War, those people will fall down the line of Maoism or anarchism. Why are the youth of our movements always smarter than us? I think it's not that they are smarter. It comes to the melding of the young and the old. When we bring our minds together and crack we all crack our nut, we can think of things together strongly. Experience is the only pathway to genuine knowledge, so the old certainly know more than I do. Because they have more experience, especially those who are lumpen and in the struggle. You find Mandem who's been in the struggle for 40, 50 years of his life. Guy, he's gonna be an encyclopedia of knowledge. You won't be able to stop the powerhouse that his brain is. But the petty bourgeois intelligentsia, they don't understand what is true knowledge, what is actually understanding something, knowing the world that you live in, what goes on, how things work. And it's that disrespect that the petty bourgeois mindset that the labor aristocracy also apply. Used to look at the world and apply to the lumpen proletariat is utterly ignorant of what experience means, because they're too busy think that books alone can teach you everything that you need to know. Books are important. I actually get labor aristocrats that try and gaslight me and say I'm discriminate, like I'm obfuscating the importance of books. I'm saying the books only truly make sense if you can grasp an semblance of its experience, like what it purveys. I guarantee you, our understanding of how brutal war is has gone up since now that we can see video and footage of people being shot, children bloodied and maimed, bombs going off in cities, compared to hearing about people tell you about it. I guarantee you that has upped the viscerality of it. That is because the capacity of experience has been increased. You're still not truly experiencing it. It's still secondhand. It's still a piece of material, but it's visual. You are still getting some form of a true iteration of what is happening. It's visceral. It hits you in a way that makes you feel the feelings of people that are there, because you're seeing the moving action of people being shot. This generation gap is holding back the real issues of class, nation, and gender. Absolutely. The system has kind of enforced this. They really like to preach in the 90s and the early 2000s. They really like to preach generationalism and try and push this generation versus that generation and the boomerism shit and all that crap. Like, what do you mean? Like, I can't believe all the shit about boomers, because they were one of the most radical generations that existed. Like, people are doing all this boomerism crap. I know that the forgotten generation was much more radical than they were, but there's still a lot of radicality to the boomer generation. Gengeros, as Unruh said, is the dark, the stone Soviet, Caleb Maupin. Gengeros, as Unruh said in the documentary, The Stone Soviet, quote, Caleb Maupin, you are white. It is not okay to be white, end quote. Caleb does hate Frantz Fanon, because Frantz Fanon is the guy who really puts into critique the Anglo-Saxon concept of whiteness, smacks it round its arsehole. Frantz Fanon was also the guy who observed the struggle of Algeria and cited essentially that as communist struggles occur, we should organize the proletariat and the lumpen proletariat, for otherwise the lumpen proletariat would therefore then be organized against us. He got rid of Marx's discriminatory bollocks because Marx himself was a self-hating lumpen petit bourgeois scholar. Oh, why am I press the keyboard then as if there's still video going on. Pretentious then. Mic drop. That was keyboard press. Frantz Fanon is essential reading in Maoism. Motherfucking-lutely. I'd also say George Jackson. Kwame Ture, although I guess that's a little more for third worldists, but we like to wedge our influences in. I mean, you as an African person in the struggle, I wouldn't have to do it with anyway, because I know that you probably love Kwame Ture a lot more than I do, because you know, and I love him to bits. I'm not saying that because I don't love him, but I know how much the Kwame Ture and Kwame Nkrumah mean to the struggle of the Pan-African people. Kwame Ture is just absolutely influential to anyone who gives the chance to hear his voice, though. Like, my goodness. Like, absolute shame that comrade had to die. He was not done yelling and telling people what's what. Like, Cancer is not a nice way to have to go. I do know that Weisfeld met Doctor met Kwame Ture. Yeah, yeah. I remember Net telling me twice. Oh, yeah. I remember it's one of them things that I'm absolutely jealous of the Doctor of, like, because that's got to have been an amazing thing. 'Cause he also got to meet Gaddafi as well. Yeah. That message popped up just as it was leaving out of my mouth. That is fucking brilliant. YouTube's latency delay made things cool. Wise, uh, it's been spelt wrong. Weisfeld seemed annoyed on that dark stream. Oh, no, he's in a lot of pain. He's dealing with his if you go on his channel, there's a video. Actually, I could show it now, couldn't I? Come to think of it.
Hi, this is AB Man here, and this is how you do physiotherapy for lumbar scoliosis, or any lumbar condition that is not well aligned, the vertebra.
I was asked to show solidarity, like this is on the Doc's channel. Like the Doc is like the Doc is going through his bells and his whistles, through his struggles, and you know, showing all solidarity to the situation he's in. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like he's got a instruction video on lumbar scoliosis stuff, but yeah, so he's going through a nasty scoliosis injury in his back. Actually, that was one of the interesting things about one of the discussions we had. Was I actually guessed that it was scoliosis that he was dealing with me when he was describing that he was having problems with his back. That was because I'm having a lot of fear that I got scoliosis with my back. Actually, the back pain's the source with the nerve pains regarding my fibromyalgia. Found that out through physiotherapists and this specialist woman who had to come in because everything was all mad. Had to back Comrade Nat when he scolded Black Minister 13 for reporting too much. It pisses me off. Comrade Nat is usually correct. Comrade Net is usually correct, absolutely. He's got a good eye for things. He can struggle with things at times because of an uh because he can get nervous in himself because of the trauma he's gone through in life. But my man has always got a really good idea on situations, and it's why one of the things to do is to try and invest confidence in the geezer, because when he puts his mind to a situation, he absolutely does start cracking out some really, really, really well thought out dialectical ideas. Embarrasses me how many of my own I have had to tell off because Comrade Net is usually correct. Having to be like, well, hear him out. Because I have to do that with myself at times, because sometimes you'll think that he's saying something that that you get a bit confused and you have to stop yourself, which I'm terrible for. I'm not very good at stopping myself. I need to get better. But eventually, net will come up into a conclusion that just absolutely makes sense, and you know that you've got the right thing. And it is because Net listens to everyone in struggle, absolutely correct, and learns from people's struggles. Struggle is one of the best grounds for people to learn about the to learn about the reality of capitalism. And that takes a lot of that knowledge and compounds it into his thought when he is um when he is sorry, my brain's a bit flat. When he is implying it, when he's applying himself to critique of the capitalist system. I've always said it, whether he likes to call it or not. He uses dialectical materialism in a lot of occasions, whether he knows it or not. It's one of the things I always like to notice that, in why I get MLs who are very frigid about, and they're in some MLM that are like this, but they're very rigid about everything having to be like Marxian all the time. There are a lot of people who end up thinking like Marxians. Like, I've always said this, like, if a group adopts a dialectical materialist and historical materialist principles, they should find their way to truth. If we believe in our principles honestly, dialectical materialism and historical materialism, and people are adopting them and following them, they should follow their way to truth, especially if we're to follow the way in which it's described by Engels and Stalin, in the fashion that dialectics is a very very natural process that functions on a basis of the moving understanding of truth, because time and space is a constant moving conjunction, and our limited view of reality is constantly shifting and changing. Either we're getting a greater view, or the view that we're getting has changed. So, let's say, for example, one thing I always like to push on people is that the anarchists, the Arizona Rebellion, they use dialectical materialism. They're not that's one of the things they come to criticize, and they come to look into it. By them using dialectical materialism, they will find a way to truth. They will find the contradictions and be like, okay, we need to do this, we need to do that. And because it's a part of their core principles, they're going to find a way to find a truthful and scientific fashion to get through their struggles. That is the goal forward. As MLM cadre from the street has just said, we have been corrected many times by the commune of anarchy. They are homeless lumpen and they teach us. Absolutely right on. The Arizona Rebellion and the LA Rebellion especially. Absolutely. The strong and well placed cadres, like, it's not just as well that they adopt these great principles, but every time I ever hear about these comrades, you always get something that shows you that they have a golden heart. Like, they're all love, they're all fucking respect, and they'll lose their shit because of how much love they got. Like, if you piss them off, they will lose their shit because they are passionate about their struggle. They've been tormented and terrorized, and the work that they do to help trans people who are being tormented and terrorized by the police and white supremacists is beautiful. Oh yeah, LA Underground. It's a mistake that won't get us in too much trouble. The LA Underground is a rebellion in LA, so we'll get away with that. There's always a way to worm yourself out of it. um, but the work these people do to help trans people, to help colonized people, is beautiful and disrespected by white Americans. Caleb is a news guy. Why isn't he reporting about these actions that are going on in his own country? interacting with Jason for how long? Seen Jason upload videos about shit going on in Arizona for how long? Didn't think that it would be worthy news to bring up on R fucking T, USA. Like, if you wanted to do hit pieces on how bad the USA is, why not how bad the USA is within its borders? Why is it only overseas? Hypocrisy. That would be like me sitting in the UK and going, oh no, what the UK is doing in Argentina is terrible, and then refusing, not just discriminating, no, refusing to speak about the islandish situation. And then while refusing to speak about it, then go turn around and start talking about unionist shit for the mainland of UK. That would be the equivalent of what Caleb's doing. I can't believe I haven't drawn that equivalent yet. That is such a perfect equivalent. Bitch about the Argentina war while absolutely ignoring the war against the Irish, and then turning around and pushing unionism on the Scottish and the Welsh. That is the equivalent of what he's doing. Absolutely, that's Novia, because he doesn't care, because he sees the natives in the same way that people like Lincoln saw natives. Same way people like Jackson saw natives. He's too busy reporting on homesteaders and Le Pen. Come on, guys. Like Le Pen, the fucking Nazi. Caleb, you're really going far with this CPI stuff, man. I wonder what's next. Absolutely. Hands off, comrade number 3. Ultraviolet scum. Sorry, I mean infrared. I know it gets those types of people, like toxic masculine, middle class, little. Yeah, upwards arrow. But no, yeah, absolutely. Hands off, comrade number 3, to all the little dickheads that want to fuck around and deal with that. And hands off Jason Unruh, and not just the people who slandered Jason Unruh, the little shitheads who know where they are, who think they can exploit Unruh, who think that using third worldism as a shield for clout to then go and lick ass people who are dishonest dickheads and go around and shower them as all honest communists. People like that are full of fucking shit. They ain't worth people's time. PSFM has recaptured their blogs and will set the record straight. Hell yeah, and all power to PSFM. The wonder for PSFM is, I wonder when they're going to return back to England. Because that's where they come from. So I wonder when they'll return. North England could do with PSFM right now. And so could Wales, so could Scotland, so could the poor places in the south. South isn't all posh. It's just a lot posh. It'd be nice to see Maoists, anarchists, PSFM, other people like that in coalition, doing Feed the People programs, helping people who are homeless have shelter, and working to build a basis of struggle for the rights and freedom of these peoples in this shitty fucking attempt at sellotaping several nations together and calling it a country. Caleb's new anti-third worldist book, Third Worldism Serves Imperialism. Is that his actual new book? Or are you just memeing? I'm not. I can't tell. Because I could see him actually writing a book like that. You gotta remember this is kind of what we're talking about. Like the realm of whether it's joke or actual reality has is there's no in between. Like it just melds. It's like when you throw a pie at a wall. Like trying to distinguish what is now pie and what is now wall is really hard to do. It was a bit of a shit analogy, but I tried. Okay. Need to check as well. Oh shit. Sorry, this feels really rude. I just have to check. Sorry. Oh shit. Self delivery. I ordered some herbal fags. They're what's it? They're cigarettes that are made with hemp instead of tobacco. So I can cut down on smoking tobacco and therefore cut down on carcinogens. Fuck my throat up less. Like they are more expensive, but cigarette smoking is expensive anyway. So it's the what gives. I might as well just spend the extra money and smoke something that doesn't feel like I'm smoking a death stick. Star Wars reference. Memeing won't be shicking. One of the reasons he won't take criticism of him because it would reveal his cultish behavior and fascist views is one of the reasons Caleb's like English meltdown there likes to study cults so much and claim reprogramming cultists doesn't work. You know what? I put a problem. I had I had top chat, not live chat, on the whole time, so there was probably things I've missed. Or there's been chat today. I got diabetes in my family and a history of skin cancer as well. Bowel cancer, lung cancer, and heart attacks are really common in my family. Oh, and strokes. One of the reasons, oh, sorry. One of the reasons, oh, I read that bit as well. Breathing anything is like breathing anything that is burning going to be toxic to some extent. Even, yeah, but there's less carcinogens, so it's still toxic, but it's less toxic. Yeah, cookie dough with marijuana and it's great. Mopping with Doc's children. Don't ever put that past him. Well, I mean, what's it? There was that thing with the um, the trans teenagers that are being doxxed by Moppins. I think ex compadre now because Moppin seems to be kicking out people that he does no longer wants to associate with. Um, wait, shit, what? Jesus Christ. saw something really fucking horrific. Sorry, uh, my friend walked into a Walmart truck. Oh my god! Oh wow! Oh, 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 this is we were drinking alcohol from the UK, so I was just like, this is why we have so many car crashes in the UK. Our alcohol makes you black out. Protect Dunru, protect Falcone. That kid has taken every request that the Commune of Anarchy has ever asked of her. Caleb and Haz are fighting over a girl. Wait, what do you mean by that? Caleb Maupin is literally the main reason why I block any person on Facebook that is pro-China, because I do not know if they're associated with Caleb. Understandable. I'm not buying this bullshit that China started the COVID stuff. No, they didn't. The US actually started it. They engineered it in a lab. It was even revealed to the US Congress by Rand Paul. Um, sorry, I'm missing things. I should screenshot that for Falcone. Let Luke Dublin know. Why is the fucking MRN chat not refreshing for me? What the fuck is going on? Sorry, I need to tell Skype to fucking kill itself. What? What the fuck has happened with the chat? I can't look past. What the fuck? Well, it's sending the images I'm screenshotting anyway. Let Luke Dublin know we all support him. He is officially a federated MRM cadre. Bravo. I will post that in the chat too. All respect to Luke Dublin. Solidarity to true MLM cadre. I am relieved that MRM made you their line holder. Don't fall asleep, Lumpen M3W like you do. This stream you have done here is our favorite so far. If you get tired, end the stream. Absolutely. I will do. God bless that, brother. Did him and hers finally break up for reals? I don't fucking know. I haven't kept up with shit going on between him and his little boyfriend. Asking the wrong guy. But I really, really want to drive home the importance that Palestine is under siege and it must be free. And that, I mean, people see this every time they'll look at my YouTube channel, but I'm going to bring it up here as well now anyway. 1 second. Oh, that's very big. That's what she said. This is a really important thing to drive home. To be silent on these genocides, as people who are committing to struggle, as people who are calling themselves communists, is to commit to that genocide, to allow it to just persist. Oh, I'll be 24 this year. They all are still crowd around me. The stream of yours is really good. All respect to you and your comrades. It was a blessed time to have them here to come and show solidarity for the Palestinian people. And I know that everyone's busy, so you might not have time tomorrow, but I will get the stream up with Dr. Weisfeld tomorrow. So if you have the time to be there, or you can watch it later, it'll be there to go on for. And I'll bring up the fact that we were watching this video in this stream to him tomorrow if he doesn't get the chance of time to watch the stream before we have the discussion, because it is 2.5 hours long, and he needs to conserve his energy as much as possible at this point in time. I don't understand the problems of conservatism of energy because of my chronic fatigue issues, so I really get the struggle in that. But it was a blessed time having you. You know, all power to the MLM, to the federated MLM cadres. All power to the Commune of Anarchy. All power to the Bundists. All power to PSFM. All power to the Palestinian people, the Yemenis people, and the resistance fighters who are fighting against colonialism around the world. God bless, man. I think this is a perfect place to end this in general. So I will drive home that the Palestinian people are experiencing genocide as we speak, and it's been going on for almost if you include the British genocide as well as the Zionist occupation, now it has been going on for over a century. This has to stop, and we can't just leave them to do the struggle in there and not say anything and do anything in our own country. You know, months ago there was actions from people in Britain to shut down military production places that were committing to the war against Palestine from Palestinian Action in the UK. We need things like that to go on. We need people to show solidarity and support, protest, stand up. Everyone needs to subscribe to the YouTube channel Pantherism. Steve's Struggle is going to be announced as the spokesperson of Panther Code's Old Guard. Everyone needs to subscribe to the YouTube channel Pantherism. Absolutely. I'll even say it again. Everyone needs to subscribe right fucking now to the YouTube channel Pantherism. Steve's Struggle is an absolute brother. Absolute brother. And, you know, what's it? I lost my train of thought then because I got distracted by the screen. Steve Struggle is an absolute brother. Yeah, I have got all the respect in the world for him. You know, when I come to speak with Steve, this was one of the most beautiful sort of things. When I come to speak with Steve, and I told him about my ideas around the lumpen proletariat and their struggle. This old panther with all this experience and struggle turns around to me and he goes, "You need to write that down. You need to start writing." Because he goes, "What he asked me first. He goes, 'Are you writing?' He goes, 'You need to be writing.'" And it was, you know, it's empowering. It's making me want to try and get myself sorted so I can start reading and writing properly again and not be as disfocused and incompetent as I have been over the last 7 years. But no, um, all respect to the all love and respect to the people, to the colonized people who are in their anti-imperialist struggle. The fourth and the third world bleeds as we speak, and their bleeding must be spoken up. All power to the people. Long live Palestine. Long live Gaza. God bless.